and thank you, and welcome back to Principal Living. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Micheal Burt. At the age of 6, America's coach, Micheal Burt, had a revelation of what he would do with his life. At the age of 15, he began to live that revelation out, and in doing so, he will go on to become a basketball coach. He began to study the 7 habits of highly effective people and quickly gravitated towards the concept of the whole person theory, learning to engineer people to produce at higher levels by speaking to and coaching their body, mind, and heart, as well as their spirit. This will become a staple of Bert's coaching philosophy and one that would separate him from many of his contemporaries. After retiring from athletic sports, he went on and built a multi-million dollar coaching business and formed the Monster Producer coaching program. Now, Coach Burt speaks around the world on his books and growth procedures and is a personal coach to some of the top performing companies in the world. I would like to present to you guys Coach Micheal Burt.
Man, thank you. I was thinking about when you go back over my whole life and to really find to really have that revelation at 6 years old. I'm 44 years old. I just turned 44 last week. And to think about
Congrats.
the life that I've been fortunate to live, number one, but the number of people I've been fortunate to touch or help in some way and coach. I mean, my whole life's been about coaching. So for you to kind of tell that story of from 6 to 44, man, that's a number one. He's got me thinking about reflection in my past and more than anything, my future, what I want to do in the next 20 years.
Awesome. Well, one thing that I can tell you is probably people look at you right now, right? And they're thinking like, "Oh, he's an overnight success. He's doing so well." But
Yeah.
just like you said, it went back to 6 years old, right? And sometimes we see people as how they are now, but we don't see the whole work that they put into their lives. And if you don't mind, if you can give us a little bit more of your background of what you do, maybe I missed some parts. So if you can give it just more, a little bit insight about what you do and who you are, please.
Yeah, I'm a pure coach. And what I mean by that is I spent from 15 to 31 coaching basketball, but I was fascinated and motivated by learning the psychology of activating the drive in people, understanding how to tap into the deepest part of a person's nature through the whole person theory. And by 25 years old, my teams were playing at such a pace and such an intensity with such a persistence that people were constantly asking me what I was doing with the kids. Because of that, I would start writing books, one of, I think, 16 or 17 books that I've written. And unbeknownst to me, I had no intention of going out and coaching companies or entrepreneurs. I mean, my life's path was to win championships as a high school basketball coach, become the dominant high school coach in the country, and then become the next Gino Ariama, like UConn, or the male Pat Summit. I mean, that was really my dream. And at 25 years old, I wrote my first book. Companies began to ask me to speak. After I would speak, they would say, "Well, will you come back and coach our people?" And so literally one led to another. And 31 years old, I retired from athletic coaching to build a coaching company where now we spend the bulk of our day coaching individuals through our Monster Producer coaching program. I do boot camps and retreats through my methodologies. And I coach companies like here. I'm with a $1 billion mortgage company that I'm trying to help even get to a higher frequency by coaching all of their people. So I spend most of my days in coaching sessions or promoting my coaching business or doing interviews like I am today, methodology on activating the prey drive in people.
Now, one of the things that I kind of look over your stuff, I even have some notes. You break down the whole person, like your philosophy of attacking, or not. Let's say not attacking, but helping people in every area of their life. How do you dig into someone's life to find out what the true problem is? Because I believe that sometimes a lot of people might come to you and say, well, my business is not working,
Yep.
or I'm in a rut. I don't know what to do. And most of the time we're looking at what's outside, right? Like, what am I not doing? Like, am I not promoting? Am I not doing something? But I don't know if you will agree with me. Most of the time is really what's going on inside. Is what it's something, it's a belief, it might be a thought, it might be something that was put into our heads that is stopping us from doing something. Would you agree with that? And how do you get into someone's life to really dig that out of them?
When you are scripted in the whole person theory, like I was by Covey, you
Mhm.
understand that all problems come back to one of four areas: the body, that's physical; the mind, that's mental; the heart, that's emotional; the spirit, that's spiritual. The manifestation of those four parts is knowledge for the mind, skills for the body, desire for the heart, or confidence for the spirit. Most people struggle in one of those four areas. They don't know what to do, knowledge, or they haven't been exposed to the knowledge they need. They don't know how to do it at a high level because they haven't practiced through repetition. So they don't have the skill they need. Selling is a skill, communicating is a skill, closing people is a skill, or they don't have the heart. I refer to that as prey drive, the passion, the intense desire, the ambition to do what it takes, or they don't have the confidence, which is a spiritual piece. They lack faith in themselves. And they don't have the confidence because they don't have the knowledge and they don't have the skill and they don't have the desire. So at the personal level, I'm here at $1 billion company, and but these are all just individuals, and each of these individuals have those four parts: body, mind, heart, and spirit. And each of those individuals could be deficient in one or all of those four parts. So when you're building a person, I build the person based on those things. I talk about this in my book, Person of Interest. I talk about how people of interest have ingredients, right? Like a powerful person. The word power is a means or source for supplying energy. A person of power and influence really just means they're a means or source for supplying energy. That's why people are attracted to them. They supply energy. We gravitate toward people that supply energy, like the outlet supplies energy to my computer. So when you think about it, I look at people of interest. They all have knowledge. They all have skill. They all have desire. They all have confidence, right? That people that are not people of interest lack one of those areas. Now, I go deeper in that book into subsets or secondary traits such as likability, connectivity, deep networks, energy, right? Like those are other ingredients of people of interest. But at the core, they almost all have a primary skill. They have a lot of knowledge in a specified area. They have intense desire, high prey drive, and they got a boatload of confidence. Now, that's when I'm building people, okay? And that doesn't matter if they're worth 50 million or $5,000. I mean, they all have those four parts to their nature. That's universal. Now, when I'm building a business, it is true that businesses struggle, and they all struggle in the same area. For example, they struggle in activation of prey drive for their people, which is instinct to take action, persistence, intensity. So they struggle in motivation. The common way to say it is they struggle in motivation. Then they lack in how they explain their value in the marketplace. They lack in how they generate leads. They lack in how they follow up on those leads appropriately. They lack in how they extract new business from their current business. And they lack in becoming people of interest, which will be the marketing component. It doesn't matter if it's a starter business. So let's say I start a business and it's just me. I'm struggling in one of those five areas. Or if it's $1 billion business, they may say, oh, yeah, we struggle with getting referrals, or we struggle with follow up, or we struggle with articulating our value. We all have missing structures. And that's really the value of a good coach that comes in and says, this is where we're losing millions of dollars right here. And just fix these problems, we would be in better shape.
So you help people get to dig in what's really the problem,
Right.
the part that they're missing, and then focus on that area in order to attack it and grow. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
And these are
Awesome.
common, simple principles, simple missing structures. But what I do is I bring a structure to a missing structure. Most people don't know. If they did know, right, they wouldn't need me.
Yeah.
Right. And so a good coach brings a structure to the chaos, brings a structure to your confusion. brings a methodology to your lack of methodology. And they say, this is the structure we're going to use to get an increase.
So a good question that I have going based on what we're talking right now. What do you think has been one of the biggest challenges you have helped someone to overcome through your coaching?
I think it is truly the activation of their prey drive. This is a new book I'm writing that's coming out in 2021 called Flip the Switch. And nothing happens until the switch is flipped. Nothing happens until the gear is turned. Nothing happens until the confidence happens. So I really think if you said, hey, sum up your life's work. You've been coaching for 28, 29 years. What is the number one thing you've done? It is activate a drive in a person to push and pursue toward their potential. It is to activate that prey drive. I could sum it all up in that. Now, do I teach sales skills? Yes. Do I teach follow-up? Yes. Do I teach how to become people of interest? Yes. But those are byproducts of activation of the drive in a person. And once the drive is activated, see, think of it as it's latent and undeveloped, right? Like an animal has a prey drive, which is its instinct to go get it, stalk, capture, and kill its prey. Well, humans have a prey drive, which is the ability to see something in the mind and have guts to go get it. Like I'm thinking about bringing an office down here to Nashville, and that could cost me $4 to $6 million. I got to raise the capital. I got to have enough guts to do it. I got to believe in myself enough that I can put people in it. I mean, it's a big deal, man. A lot of people would not have the courage to do it. They lack courage. They are discouraged. That means to take courage away. So, these are not easy things that big time people do. Elon Musk saying we're going to go to the Mars, or Jeff Bezos saying we're going to do this. These are not easy things. It takes guts, man. It takes courage. So the activation of prey drive and the reactivation of that drive is so critical to what I've really been doing the last 28, 29 years of my life.
Okay. So helping people to become more spiritual. Would that sum it up a little bit?
Yeah, to help people become, the spiritual component is there's a prey drive, spiritual prey drive, right? There's a physical prey drive. There's a mental prey drive. There's an emotional prey drive. But once that gear is and you're ready to go, then you kind of go pro in all areas of your life. You go pro in the body, in the mind, in the heart, and in the spirit.
Okay. So that could be like the main area,
Yes.
you could say. Okay.
Yes.
To know how you got to the success that you are now, we're going to talk about the three principles you've used into your life to become the person that you are today. For me and for our audience, we define a principle as a set standard that you won't compromise. So something like pretty much a law that you implement to your life and you won't compromise at all. What will be the main and most important principle you have used?
I wrote down three. Um, I think the biggest principle is to always show up with batteries included. Meaning,
With
what? Meaning, when I show up to something, I show up ready to go. I don't have to be cranked up, motivated, excited. I show up ready to perform. Okay. And you could drop me off. I tell my sales team all the time, you could drop me off in the middle of Alaska and say, we got to sell this. Right. And I would figure out a way to sell it. Like, I don't whine. I don't complain. I don't make excuses. I don't obfuscate. I don't circumvent. Like I show up always ready to go. And that has a lot to do with the amount of preparation I do, the amount of years of experience I have. But some people show up and we need to talk strategy, and we need to talk about this, and what if this don't work? And they spend a lot of their time dreaming and talking and thinking. And I'm a person of action. Okay. I would rather take an inaccurate action versus sit there and talk strategy for days. Now, some people are going to disagree with that, but you asked me the question, what has been one of the principles that has gotten me to where I am today? And it's been, when in doubt, take an action. When in fear, take an action. When depressed, take an action. When frustrated, take an action. When confused, take an action. Right? Like to me, that is a huge solution to a lot of problems. Too many people think, talk, pray. There is a point for praying. There is a point, but we have independent will for a reason. The good Lord gave us independent will, which is the ability to make a decision, to decide, to kill off something, to move towards something, right? And so I'm a person of action. That's why I say show up, batteries included, would be my number one.
Okay, so how, so just saying, like, one thing that I noticed that you said is like the way or the reason why I show up and I'm ready to go is because of my experience. It's because of what I've been through in life. If somebody's starting off, how would you develop that same level of confidence and readiness to hit whatever is in front of you at that moment?
Well, you said a couple key words there is readiness. Like I think of success readiness. Nobody is ready to be successful until they get in the game. Like you can have all the practice in the world, but until you perform, you don't know if you're ready or not, right? I don't know if I'm ready to build a $6 million building or not until I do it. It
Do
may
it.
be a terrible decision. But confidence is a memory, and it is the memory of success. Success happens through consistent, ongoing, systematic repetition. You become successful. You get success ready by working the muscle, by getting in the game, by taking an action. That's how successful people became successful. All successful people started off as unsuccessful people. All big stars started off as small baby stars, but they took an action. So let's go back to the principle. The principle is when in doubt, take an action. I started coaching when I was 15 years old, and I didn't know I wanted to coach until someone asked me to be a junior pro basketball coach. I was scared. I was nervous. I was insecure, but I took an action. When I was 18, I wanted to be a head boys basketball coach. So I went down and got the job. I took an action. When I was 19, I got asked to go to a bigger school. You see, I believe nothing happens until somebody moves. An object at rest stays in rest unless acted on by an outside force. An object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an outside force. So I create energy and motion by taking action. And that's how I prepare myself for success. And I actually enjoy the preparation to get ready and the performance. And if it doesn't work, there is no failure. There is only learning. There is no rejection. Some people want what you have and some people don't. There is no embarrassment. There is no anything. It is what it is. It's just an experience. I could take on this project and completely fail. It doesn't make me a failure. It actually takes the guts to take on the kind of projects I take on, right? So
So
I
you're
think it's all,
building.
yeah, it's all relative. It's all relative to your idea of success and significance. But for me, I would sum it up by when in doubt, take an action. And the success readiness comes through preparation.
So when you say preparation, would it be something that you practice on a daily basis? I've heard this before, and I just want to ask you if you probably believe this. So let's say even for like this interview or when you're going to talk to somebody, if you practice being there, doing it, right? The practice, 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 even though you're not there, once that happens, you are able to do it better because of the practice, right? Like you're putting yourself in that time and in that moment, so that therefore it gives you the practice that you need.
Yeah.
As well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and as well, you said something that I really like. You stop thinking, you stop giving time, and you just take action. So
Yes.
instead of like, well, what if I just like you said, like, I don't know if I want to do this building. What if this happens? What if this happens? You're like, okay, what do I need to do? And if
Yes.
it happens, it happens. So like you're stop thinking and you take action.
Yeah, because to prepare for this interview, I've been preparing for 28 years. So there's probably no question you can throw at me when it relates to coaching that I wouldn't be prepared for because I've been in front of millions of people on interviews. I've spoken in front of 10,000 people. I've been coaching every day for 28 years. So there's not a lot of prep work because it's just who I am. That's what I do. I'm an expert. But to your point, I think the big takeaway for your viewers and your listeners are, the way people get great is through concentrated practice. That's why you hear 10,000 hours of practice. But what they leave out a lot that they don't talk about is it's 10,000 hours of practice with feedback and criticism and coaching. It's not just 10,000. Like I could play golf for 10,000 hours on my own and still be a bad golfer. Right now, if I play 10,000 hours with a great golf coach and correction and feedback, then I master something. Okay, with results. So
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of people, they spend too much time thinking, strategizing, talking, complaining, coming up with reasons why it may or may not work. When in doubt, take an action, man. That's a solution, because that is where confidence really comes from. Confidence is a memory of success. Insecure people have the memory of failure. They doubt. They have insecurity, isolation. Not confident people. Confident people play through their mistakes because they're in the game.
I love that. I love that mentality. That philosophy. I think it's powerful. So I like that principle. And to jump off and kind of segue to the second one, what would be the second principle you live by that has make the most impact?
The second principle, which is a really hard one to execute, is when a man asks you to go 1 mile, go two. We live in a world. This is a biblical principle. When a person asks you to go 1 mile, go two. We live in a world of just enough. We live in a world where we do bare minimum. We live in a world where we just get by. And that's not the way I think. I think when a person asks me to do one thing, why not do two things? When a person asks me to show up and deliver, why not show up and deliver and do something else? Why not always give more than what's expected? Why not always over deliver on a promise that you make? Why not always seek to really, really impress people? That's my thought process. Why? So the question is, when a person asks you to go one step, go two steps, and that solves customer service issues. It helps people remember you, like right, like that's what it does, man. It makes you remarkable.
You stand out of the crowd because everybody is the same, right? So now, what do you think is the difference in between those two people? So why does it happen that most people just give just enough? And what separates, let's say, what separates the person that just gives enough with the person that says, okay, I'm gonna give more, I'm gonna deliver more, I wanna be greater than the other person.
Yeah, this is a tough question because it's been debated. A lot of it has to do with conditioning, psychological,
Mm-hmm.
environmental, scripting, physiological environments you were in as a child. I was raised by a very tough, high D mother, single mother, who taught me to always give more than expected. We always had to dress up when we went out in public. We had to make my bed every day. I mean, she was tough. And I didn't miss a day of school when I was growing up. Like from second grade, I think I had chicken pox, so I couldn't go. But from second grade to 12th grade, my
Right.
mother wouldn't let me miss a day of school. So let me tell you why that's important. Because now I'm 44 and I'm tough. I'm tough minded. I show up every day. I don't listen to my feelings. I go extra. I put the work in. I do the work. I'm a professional, and I owe a lot of that to my mother, who implanted discipline and toughness in me as a child. Now, let me tell you where it's showed up. People that did not have that toughness, people that did not have that conditioning, people that did not have that scripting during periods like we've been in during COVID, pandemic, is that those people have crumbled. They're not tough enough mentally. They're not tough enough emotionally. So what's happened is they let their business go, or they go bankrupt, or they don't have a fight in them. Okay. And I have seen a lot of that. A lot of people just don't have the physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual toughness to fight through adversity, to fight through unexpected times, to fight through things that are not easy. And I thank my mother every day because she instilled that. Now I'm trying to instill that in my 8-year-old. I'm trying to instill that in my wife. I'm trying to instill that in my new 12-week-old son. I got an 8-year-old and a 12-week-old son. And listen, the number one thing I can give them is my toughness. Uh, if you ask me, could I give them? That's what I would give them. Is I would give them my grit. I would give them my emotional toughness. I would give them my bounce back. I would give them my ability to get back up and keep going, man. That's a principle I would give my kids over my intelligence, over anything else. I would just give them the ability to keep fighting through when other people give up.
Awesome. So you were fortunate enough to have your mom that kind of build that up and give you the foundation for it. When somebody is, let's say, 25, 30, 40 years old even, do you have a way that it might be possible to start building that up from there
It's a
that you
great
will know
question.
of?
I really encourage I really encourage, I think about my boot camp Flip the Switch, which is about activating the prey drive in you. I do that a couple of times a year. I've got another one coming up in October. Most people have not been exposed to world-class people. They've been exposed to a lot of average people. They think that's the norm. They see family members quit. They see friends quit. They think that's just how it is, man. People quit. They haven't been exposed to world class. If you really went, if you were an athlete, a high school athlete, and you went and trained with a world class athlete or a world class professional, you would see the significant difference in mindset, preparation, work ethic. There would be a significant gap between how hard you think you need to work and how hard you actually need to work. Right? Like Michael
That
Jordan.
is right.
Michael Jordan didn't show up 15 minutes before practice. He showed up 4 hours before practice. He didn't show up 15 minutes before a game. He showed up 4 hours before a game. Now, very few people are going to have that toughness to do that. They're going to roll in and think they can wing it and be average, and they're going to get average results, which is in the form of economics in the world. They're going to get paid an average salary. They're going to have an average skill. They're going to solve average problems. They're probably going to live an average life. And at some point in your life, man, you gotta leave your amateur desires behind and make a decision to go pro. And going pro means getting coached, getting feedback, listening to criticism, being willing to go another round, go another level. Most people have never been exposed to that. So the 25-year-old that's never been exposed to it thinks he's operating at a high level. Here's a good example. I got an email yesterday from a person in our coaching program. She's only paying $25 a month to get coaching. $25. She hasn't logged in one time to watch one thing that I've done in the last year. At the end of her 1 year, she wanted to cancel her coaching services. And I went back, one of my assistants went back and said, well, have you been on coaches' calls? Have you? No, I hadn't done any of that. I'm already doing 25 deals in my first year. See, in her mind, she thinks she's a pro because she's doing 25 deals. Somebody has led her to believe she's a professional. When the truth is, I'm coaching real estate professionals that are doing 160 deals. I'm coaching people that are doing more in a month than she's doing in a year. But in her mind, she's pro. Like, I'm doing 25 deals, man. Why would I need Coach Burt? Well, that's an exposure problem she has. Well, Coach Burt could show you how to do 125 deals or 160 deals. You know, if I produce, let's just say if I could produce $250,000 a month in my coaching business, there's somebody out there producing 2.5 million a month. If I could sell $100,000 a day, there's somebody selling $1 million a day. I have a humility that I want to learn from that person. I don't go in there and go, hey man, look at me. I'm producing $250,000 a month, right? And they're going, I'm producing $250,000, right? I'm producing a 2.5 mil a month or 20 million a month. So people have a distorted view about what a professional is and at what level they play at versus, you know, I had a guy come up to me at an event one night and he's like, oh, coach, I do what you do. You know, I'm a life coach like you are. And I said, well, you know, how much money does your business generate by being a life coach? He said, you know, $40,000 or $50,000. And I said, well, you really don't do what I do because I'm doing it at an exponential level to what you're doing. But in his mind, we did the same thing. We're equals. Yeah. And I'm like, well, no, we're not equals. Not when it comes to this. My level of production, your level of production is on two different planets, man. But in his mind, that's the problem. See, that's the 25-year-old's problem is, hey, I'm working hard. What more do you want me to do? Well, there's another level you don't even know exists.
So kind of one thing that I catch on there was first environment. So kind of based on, even on the example with the lady you told me. And yep. Second, people that are successful, they are never they never stop learning. So kind of just exactly what you said. Okay, I'm at a higher level, but you know what? I want to learn something new. I want to expand myself. I want to know how to be a better person, right? When the other person, just like you said that on that example, she's like, okay, I'm already good. You know what I mean? I know everything. I don't need your help. So
That's
it's
right.
kind of stopping the learning curve, let's say, and just thinking that you already know enough to even go to a higher level. And I think that's very important coming from you as well, saying that you're a coach, because that's pretty much what a coach does. And the perfect example that you gave was Michael Jordan. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen that show late not too long ago from in Netflix.
Yeah, The Last
And I
Dance.
mean the level,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, there you go. And the level of commitment that I've seen on him is it's awesome. It's something that you don't see too often. And even though he's going somewhere, right? Like maybe he's filming something, he's still thinking about practicing. He's
Yes.
still doing the basic moves. He's not
Yes.
thinking like, okay, I know everything. You know what? Just I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do, and I'll worry about practice later. He's about
Yes.
practicing, practicing, practicing all day. So
It's
I
about
really
pursuit.
like that example.
Yeah, it's about pursuit of potential. Like when you study prey drive, it's prevalent in animals. What's cool about animals that I really love is the definition of prey drive says this: the animal's mere ability to pursue the prey is the strongest motivator the animal can have. Meaning, although the animal is pursuing the prey, catching the prey is not the reward. The reward is the animal's ability, freedom to pursue the prey. That's how you should be with your potential. The mere ability to get up every day and go get it should be enough for you, whether you get it or not. That's how you need to
I
think
like
about it.
that.
Big time people are in the pursuit of their potential. They may not ever reach it. They may not ever actualize it. They may not ever get there. And if they did, they're going to want more. So the point is, it's the ability to get up every day and be grateful that I get to go pursue my potential. That's the motivator.
And going based as far as what I've hear from you and the videos I've watched from your content, it seems like you're really faith based, and I believe that just going based on the Bible, it pretty much it tells you that us as a spirit being, we have unlimited amounts of potential.
Yes.
So getting even just the same example that you were giving, kind of going back to it, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this many deals, but I'm doing 100, but I want to get to 200.
Yes.
When that person started, and let's say they're doing 5 to 10 deals, maybe for them it's a lot, but once you get to that level, you understand that you have the potential. So now you want to reach a higher potential. Then once you get to the higher one, you're like, okay, I can do this. I gotta go higher. So kind of the same example gives you a background of the potential that really a person has, that is unlimited, because you keep going and going and going. There's no stop to it, right? So I like that concept.
Yeah. Every day we get new information, we get new data, we get new potential, we get new opportunity, right? In the Bible, God only gave the folks enough food for the day, right? And enough mammon for the day, right? Then at the end of the day, it's all over, man. It's just enough for today. That means I got to get up and go get it again tomorrow. Right? No matter. So I use the saying a lot. It all goes to zero at midnight. Right? It all goes to zero at
I love
midnight.
that.
And if you tell yourself that, you understand that success doesn't care what you did yesterday. It don't care what you do tomorrow. It cares what you do today. Right? There comes a time when that's what you did all spring and summer. Right? What takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. Like I have in my mind, I got to get up and go get it every day. I don't have a relax button in me. I do relax from time to time, but I never let myself get comfortable, which is what too many Americans do. We live in a complacent, lazy society, and that is because their basic needs are met. Here's another comment on prey drive is that why would we become complacent? Satisfied needs never motivate, only unsatisfied needs. So what happens when all your needs are met? Well, you create new
You're
needs.
comfortable.
You create more wants. You create, like, here's an example. I got this private jet, that me and one other dude on this private jet. But I don't use the private jet all the time because I can't justify the expense on some trips, right? I use it sometimes and then I fly commercial sometimes, which means I'm rich, but I ain't that rich. And I tell my wife all the time, one of my goals is to produce enough revenue that we could fly on a private jet anytime, anywhere, and not even think about it. If we go to California, it's a $30,000 trip, 20, 30,000. When I can fly on Southwest for 400. So I want to get, one of my goals is to reach enough people and help enough people that we can fly anywhere. I don't even have to think about it. Just fire up the jet. We want to leave right now. We want to go wherever you are. I want to do this in person versus do it via Zoom. I just get on the jet and come to you, man. Well, that's a goal for me. Some people would say, well, you ought to be happy you got a private jet. I am happy, but I'm not happy that I don't use it all the time because I can't justify the expense certain times, which means I'm not producing enough revenue. I need to produce more revenue. So it's all relative to this concept of how do you go out there and do it at a higher level, right? Like we all should want to do it at a higher level, no matter what level we're currently doing it at.
Got it. So one phrase that I have is today's success is based on what you did yesterday, but
Yes,
your future will be based on what you do today, right?
that's right.
So if you don't wanna stay stagnant, you have to keep working. And whatever is already done is done. So your success got you to where you are now, but it's not gonna get you to the future. So you have to do something today. So I like that, and that's a pretty cool goal. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to make it happen. So
Oh, it ain't happening fast
hopefully
enough.
sooner than later.
I need to push harder. I need to push
Good,
harder.
good. And to jump up onto the third one, what would be the third principle you live by?
What I wrote down here is always deliver more than what you're compensated for. Every role that I've had in my life, when I first started coaching basketball, my first role was a head boys basketball coach. And I didn't even ask how much they were going to pay me. I didn't want the money. I wanted the opportunity. They ended up paying me $199.50 for the year. But that led to me having the experiences that other 18-year-olds didn't have. So my next job, I made $2,000 a year, which is a 10 times increase. Then I made $24,000 a year. Then I started figuring out how to make $24,000 in a day. And every step of the way, one of my principles has been always deliver more than what they're compensating you for. Always give more than what you're getting paid to do. Every day at your current job is an interview for your next job. That is one of my key principles. Every day with your current client is an interview for your next client. That's a principle.
Referrals, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
So if the more you give, the more you give and give and give, the more you will receive. Just same thing as from the Bible. Give and you shall receive. Pretty
that's
much
exactly
the same concept.
knock and the door shall be opened. Ask
Yeah.
and you will
I,
receive, right? Like it's the Bible. It's a great sales book. It teaches so many principles. There's there's
yeah.
there's 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 stuff in there about referrals. There, one of my favorite verses is Jesus, the 12 disciples, 2 women and a business manager, and they're walking from city to city, sharing the gospel. And then at the very end of that verse, it says, and many others who were contributing from their own resources to support Jesus and the disciples. And you have to ask, if you're a salesperson, you got to say, well, what resources were they contributing? Why would they contribute from their own resources to support another person's mission? Money, time, energy, network, relationship, influence. Why would they do that? They had to be transformed by Jesus. When you help transform another person's life, guess what they'll do? They will contribute from their own resources to support you and your mission. Woo, that's good right there, man. Everybody got their money's worth.
uh, let me give you some of what I believe as well, right? And it's coming from the Bible, and it's saying that everything in life has a purpose. and that purpose will give you everything you need. It's something that you are able to contribute to the world. And just to give you a quick example is if you plant a tree on the ground, that tree will become, I mean, that seed, right? You put the seed on the ground, and then that tree comes up. Now, when you have this tree and it's giving you a fruit, right? People come to you because it's your gift, because you are contributing, because you are giving. So they come to you and grab your fruit.
Good.
Now, if you think about it this way, and just kind of like exactly what you were saying, if you have a tree and it's giving you fruit after fruit, like it's just giving you plentiful, you are going
Mm-hmm.
to take care of it. You are going to
Mm,
put soil, better soil on it. You're going to put um, fertilizer. So
mm.
people will take, so what I'm trying to get to is if you give your gift and if you give pretty much what you are able to contribute to the world will take care of you too. So
Absolutely.
give.
Absolutely. 100%. Too many people don't
So
give. Too many people take and take and take
mhm,
and take and take. They don't understand how to contribute from their own resources to support another person's mission. And that person, which is typically a person of power and influence, like Jesus was in the Bible, will open doors for them like they can't imagine.
that is true. That is true. So I think you've given a lot of cool content, a lot of good stuff here, Mr. Burt, and I really appreciate that you were here. I think that your information was very valuable. Um, one thing that I wrote down that I would like to find out about you, because like I said, I seen a couple of videos from you, and I'm just curious about this. It seems like you were your mom helped you out a lot, and you were fortunate enough to go into coaching in a pretty early age of your life. So one thing that I would like to know is what has been the greatest failure in your life? The thing that you, let's say that there was a failure in your life, but you learned the most out of. What would be something that happened to you?
You know, I think I don't know if this is a failure. I think every day that I could be better in two roles. I could be a better husband. I got an incredible wife that supports me, allows me to be who I am, lets me travel the world and support my mission, but I could be better there. I'm not a failure as a husband, but I could be better. And I think I could always be a better father. I think I think, I'm wired to be a worker. I'm wired to get a lot of um, value from my work. It's kind of for some reason, it feeds me. Right? I have to work hard at being a good husband. I have to because my natural bent, in the Bible, this would be an iniquity, is to work, just to be a workaholic, just to work all the time, and then say, hey, you guys get involved in my flow of my life, right? Like quality time with me is go to work with me. You know what I mean? Or quality
Yeah.
time with my daughter is let's go look at real estate together, or let's talk business. And so over the last couple of years, I think I've gotten better of, hey, what's quality time to you? And when you have dreams as big as I do, what ends up happening is you a lot of things have to be sacrificed. To help as many people as I help in a day, you have to sacrifice a lot of things. And I'm trying at 44 to not sacrifice from my family, certainly not sacrifice my faith, but to really build an intentional congruence between all of these things. And I think that's something I can get better at every day.
Awesome. Well, that's good information. Even though, so once again, thank you for being here, Michael. I will really appreciate it. I think this information will help other people out there. Now, one thing that I wanted to tell people as well: if you want to get coached, and if you want a person with this much amount of value to help you out to get to a next level, how can they reach out to you?
I think they just need to email me, coach@coachburt.com, or go to coachburt.com. You can look at what I do. If you want to learn
Mhm.
more, you can, I have 1,000 videos on YouTube. I would love, push this video on YouTube. If you share it with us, we want to push it out to the marketplace. Follow me on Instagram at Coach Micheal Burt or at Micheal Burt. I try to show people what I do every day, not just tell people, but show them. And all I do all day, every day is coach people, coach individuals,
Awesome.
coach entrepreneurs, coach sales professionals, coach businesses. So if you're looking for a good coach in your life and you think we resonate with each other, then I'm applying for the job.
I give my part to the equation. Good. Awesome. So if you guys want to change your life, if you want somebody to help you out with a lot of experience, that a person that is already helping billion-dollar companies, reach out to Micheal Burt. We're gonna put a link on in the bottom too, so you guys can reach out to him. And and once again, Micheal, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and it was a pleasure having you, man.
Absolutely. God bless you, man.
All right.
Thanks for having me
All
today.
right.
You're
Thank
awesome.
you.